reward besides doing what you love, i.e., money, fame, sex.
Damn.
Getting autographs from M3J after selling out the 20,000 people stadium. That'll probably never happen. Number 5, less money is being invested in bands, which we just talked about. Less money to be made means there's less of it available on the business side to invest in new talent, plain and simple, like we just said. Sure, there are always going to be successful stories of artists that rose to fame based on their own merits. But for most bands, a little push is needed to reach the levels of success where financial stability is possible. And that little push is not actually little. It's a huge push, and it comes from the big conglomerates such as Universal Music and Warner Brothers and Sony. Those are the big 3 that are still standing. And actually, they're predicting that those 3 are even going to turn into the 1 or 2 record label conglomerates. Yeah, we can't say which ones, but one of them's thinking about buying the other one out, and the other one's actually probably considering it. Crazy.
Damn.
Hey, man, I might kill myself to this one, man.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll find us something more upbeat.
Yeah, please do. In case y'all didn't know about radio, which I'm sure you've noticed, you got to play a lot of beds, man. It really helps the mood. Even Marshall Mathers, a.k.a. Eminem, was talking about how music can alter moods. Well, can it load a gun and cock it too? Because if it can, then I'll get sued. And I'm going on my little rant over here.
There you go.
What do we got? I Disappear from Metallica? Okay, I'm down with that. All right. Number 6. Bands need to tour more often to make a living, just like Metallica does, baby. Actually, I got to meet James Hetfield right here in San Diego. We had lunch together eating Mexican food at old T.O. Leo's one day.
Little fun fact.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. People who were trying to get his autograph, he was saying no. And when they would say, why can't I have an autograph? He would say, because I'm a human being.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a cool guy. Very down to earth. For those who choose the musician path in spite of the overwhelming odds against them, touring and doing so as much as possible is the name of the game. It's not. It's the only way for the biggest artists in the world to earn any kind of significant income. Unfortunately, touring is difficult, and the lifestyle of being away from home and friends and family for 9 months out of the year can wear down even the most hardened road warrior. This is especially true when not much money is coming in, which is the case for most bands, even the ones we think of as popular. Crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
John, you've been working in radio for some time. Actually, you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, a lot more consistently than I have. What's your take on bringing in artists?
Artists in
yeah.
studio?
I mean, you've seen it all, bro. I mean, you've seen rock stars in the building. You've seen radios try to break.
I'll be honest with you, man. I mean, I've seen a lot of artists come through these 4 walls, and it's tough, man. Unless you're a big band like a Metallica or a big name like that, maybe an Incubus or Blink-182. Who is somebody who has the big record label behind you?
Right.
It's hard to get. It's hard to get on the radio. It's hard to get the program director's attention. Yeah. Because as a program director, they're responsible for the station, right?
Sure.
They decide. They have a big influence on what gets played on the radio. Them in addition to the music director, right?
Sure.
And so the music director basically is the filter between anybody outside of this building.
Okay.
And the program director. So if you're trying to get your music on the radio, you probably got to go to the music director first.
Okay.
And then the program director, the person responsible for the station.
Okay.
And it's hard, man, unless, because these record labels have, I forget, it's like radio A&R people, who that's their job is to go from station to station and pitch these music directors and PDs, take them out to lunch and schmooze them to pitch them on this artist.
You know what? I like that. Maybe I should become a music director. That way they could take me out to lunch.
I
like free lunches.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. I mean, that's, they have a budget. They have almost like a company credit card, these people that do the pitching from the record labels. And they take these people out, and the PDs and music directors out for lunch, and they try to say, hey, you should play my band. They're good. They're really they're getting a lot of attention in this place and that place. I think they're the next big thing. A lot of times that never happens. You should see some of these people's mailboxes here. They've got demos and record labels sending all kinds of, literally just boxes of demos and, just samplers for the radio station to play. And a lot of times we have what we call, local shows that are devoted to local talent to come in and, display their music.
Sure.
They'll come in, they'll apply online, and that's kind of the extent of where they go. They apply, they never get brought into the station, or even if they do get picked to get their music showcased, After that, it's just like nothing happens from there, and they don't really, fulfill that that long-term success.
Well, it just hit me then. For all you guys out there trying to, make it famous with your bands and whatnot, either one, it sounds like you have to pay off the music director, or two, you have to be so good looking and pretty much kind of like, schmooze them, you know what I'm saying?
You got to have a lot of clout, a reputation, especially to get played on like a mainstream radio station.
So guys, it's unfortunate for you that I think most music directors, especially in rock and roll, tend to be guys. So you're probably screwed. So how you probably could make it work, though, is if you're like the guitar player, the drummer, the bass player, you get a really hot chick for a front woman and maybe like have her go hit up the music director and, you know what I'm saying? If things just happen to happen outside of work.
And I'll tell you.
And it's convince the guy, it might work. I don't know. I know Hollywood works that way.
A big part of this industry, and I'm sure you know.
By the way, I'm not really seriously saying to do that.
Yeah, what I'm saying, a big part of it is, it's who you know as well.
That's true.
It's a very small industry. It's like the military. It's very small, as big as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big network of who you know. If I liked you, it's like, I'll play your song. Or, I'll give them a listen. I'll entertain the idea. I'll let you take me out. And,
so I'm telling you, baby, if you got big boobs and big lips and you're really pretty in the face, that might really play. I mean, I've never met a guy that didn't like a pretty woman, so, I wish I was a chick. I probably would have made it a long time ago. All right, let's wrap this one up here, man. We're on number 7. Too much touring leads to fan and artist burnout. I know all about that. No, not really, but I have a lot of friends who know a lot about that. It's the law of diminishing returns. If a band keeps playing the same cities time and time again, eventually people will have had their fill. There's only so many shows you can play in any given city in a certain period of time and still expect fans to come out. And often those numbers don't match up well with the income musicians need to cover their life expenses.
I will say this. I never understood how, as being an artist, I know the point of it is to go from, city to city or state to state and promote this album, this new music. And for me as an artist, I wouldn't want to do the same music every night on tour. Now, granted, the guys here in California didn't hear the music that you did in Texas,
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
But I feel like for me, if I were an artist, I would want to mix it up with new music, or always change the set list so that the monotony wasn't there.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you get bored playing
I would get burnt out on playing the same music in and out. And luckily, if you're a band like, I love Metallica, but if you're a band like them, you have a massive catalog that you can choose from in addition to your new music.
That's true. I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. I think they play a lot of covers in the beginning, but now I hear you, dude. I think, it must suck if you only have 10 songs and that's all you got to play for the next 50 shows,
Yeah, it's like this joke. I don't know if you're familiar with the Panda, that song Panda from Designer.
Nuh-uh.
This one song that blew up. All the radio stations were playing it. But they were like, when you have when they're making fun of the guy Designer, it was like, when you have a 45-minute set list with only one hit.
That's so true. Yeah, I've seen that, and it's funny because those bands have a hard time even selling out like smaller venues or even House of Blues and stuff. Which House of Blues is like a medium-sized venue, I think.
Yeah.
Number 8, you might agree with this, or maybe you won't, John. Music has become a background activity. If you're reading this article, you probably don't fall into the category that music became a background thing. But you spend money on your favorite bands. You actively seek out new music, blah, blah, blah. Music is your life, or at least a big part of it. But for most people, that simply isn't the case anymore. Too many other options for entertainment exist. Hundreds of channels of cable, TV, DVDs, IMAX movies, video games, porn, the entire effing internet. And gone are the days when music could be the sole activity of a hang. Even if you try putting on a record you're excited about when your friends are over, watch as people whip out their phones and side conversations proliferate. The days of just listening and passing a joint silently, maybe staring at the album cover, are gone. With fewer people citing music as passion, less money is spent on it. That does suck. And the last one, actually, I'm curious. What do you think about that one?
I agree with that. I feel like if you're passionate, I mean, either it goes two ways. Either you're in or you're not in.
So you're either in or you're out?
Yeah, and I feel like, it is, more of a background for a lot of people. But if you're in it, you're committed to it, You're all about the music. You're following the next big hit.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking forward to your favorite artist's next album. But I mean, I work in the industry, in the radio industry, so
Sure.
I mean, I'm pretty much around it all the time. So I think it's a little bit different for me than the average, listener.
Yeah, I get you. I could see that. But, I think for the average people out there, too, music has become like almost like a worthless commodity to them. It kind of sucks. And the last one, it's all about the songs even more than ever before. So you got access to good, cheap recording gear. You tour. You do okay for yourself. Now what? In the end, it still always comes back to writing great songs. And that's not even more difficult now. And that's even more difficult now because of the stiff competition and all the other factors mentioned above. We're not just talking great riffs, good solos, a catchy breakdown, or even a solid hook. Everything all together is what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. So good luck with that, and hopefully that helped out some of you musicians. Everybody else, sorry you had to sit through that, or maybe you tuned out by now. I don't know. Anyhow, John,
I thought that was a lot of that was it was good. It was
I think it was really informative for the musician community, and obviously you've given that radio insight here because you're a managerial supervisor position in one of the biggest radio companies in the whole wide world.
Yeah, I'm in the industry, but yeah, like I said, I feel like a lot of that was it was a lot, and I don't disagree with a lot of it. So yeah,
I'm with you on that. Well, I think everybody out there, musician wise, is going to be all the rockers going to be very glad that we did that for them. So,
cool. All right, that concludes Skull and Bones Radio for tonight, man.
Baby, we appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully we didn't bore you guys to death, and we'll catch you next week.
We'll catch you next week. Again, Skull and Bones Radio. Find us on the socials, and we'd love to hear from you.
And I'll let you know all about my reunion.
All right, there we go. Have a good night.
Don't even think about leaving. Tell him why not, Batman.
I will find out who your mom is. Skull and Bones Radio. We'll be right back.